What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Legends of the Dugout, another episode of Unprepared and Live. So, put the link into the chat and stuff. So, waiting on a couple people to join me in this conversation. So, it should be fun tonight. Hopefully, it is. Drew. You hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, just let's see. What's going on?
Can we get an echo?
I don't have an echo.
Matt.
You go, Eddie.
Gentlemen, how we doing? Sorry I'm late. Good evening.
You're not late. You're on time.
I was looking at the text. And I'm like, oh no, I turned on the TV and you're already on. So I saw you put in the thread. Scott, Drew,
later than you, man.
Hammer. What's going on, guys?
Hey, gentlemen.
Hey, Drew.
So everybody good? Scott, it's been a while since I've seen you or even talked to you. I mean, I know we had a text here and there, but you doing good?
Doing okay.
Yeah. The wife doing good?
Staying warm up north.
We're gonna be 80s here in Texas tomorrow, Scott. So if you want to come down and get warm, for real. I'm not sure how warm it really is up there.
Well, we had 40 this week.
Oh, who was Drew?
That's Drew.
Yeah. Oh, there. I'm putting him back in.
Yeah, I jumped out because I'm hearing everything twice. Getting an echo.
You don't have like YouTube on?
You sound fine, Drew. Is it us? One of us is a tech away? Dave, are we okay?
I hear you guys fine.
Am I coming over okay?
Yep. Eddie.
Waiting on Mike Petty to join us also here too.
How many can you fit in to a StreamYard?
Oh. Just one more. If I paid for it, I can fit, I think, up to 10.
I don't know that I have all that much to say, so believe it or not.
Well, come on, you future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate everyone that. Oh, there's Donnie live stream.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Don.
How we doing?
Trying to get my name back. It's my third live stream this week. I
So
haven't,
the
done one
Misfits
in I haven't done one in like 4 months.
that Misfits one was great. You're having to keep everyone in line, keep everyone focused on going through the votes. You guys were swerving all over the place.
Yeah, it's hard to get a word in when Mangini's on there. Oh, I was teasing him. I don't know if you saw the video he just made of him walking around a flea market, and his wife had to hold the camera while he was bullshitting to everyone.
I didn't see it yet. I saw the ones in the car. I saw the one they were in the car together for a few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like talking to these dealers like forever, BSing, and she's just holding the camera. Like, although I've met his wife, so I'm not surprised. I went to their house one time, it's his collection, and like we were doing a live, and she kept refilling his drinks and asked him what he wanted, and not like my wife.
All right, losing here, Orlando.
We're at capacity. It sounds like people are waiting to join.
Yeah.
We can jump
Yeah,
in and
I
out.
got,
If you need to, Dave, let us know. We can jump. Like someone's can trade in and out. Anyone?
Like I got Mike Petty's in the background waiting, which is fine. I just texted him and told him I can have 6. So it's all good right now. So what's everybody been up to? Like I know Matt, you just did your 11-second video.
Marathon video, yeah.
Yeah, you beat my time in the shortest video. Congratulations. Thank you.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Hey, I wanted to make sure I at least got the vote in, right? So that was the priority.
I think Don's having issues.
I thought he was going
Right
to have a
now.
cigar or something on the back porch, is what I'm assuming he's going to do.
No, I don't know.
That would be
Yeah,
a tough
good.
poll.
Thank everyone that voted for me for that. It's a weird experience. I mean, Don can tell you this. Every time you get a vote, it kind of has the same, I don't know, dopamine release or whatever, where you still get like a little charge out of it, and it doesn't matter how many votes you get. It's really cool. And the only thing I thought about, maybe getting elected is I won't get any more votes. I won't have that experience. But of course, I'm really honored that many people punched the ballot for me. Thank you, everybody.
Of course. Well deserved, sir.
Yeah.
So I think like next year is going to be like hard, like really hard to.
It was hard this year. It was already hard.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to keep the people I voted on last year in, but I had to drop a couple off to make sure I voted for folks I wanted to for this year. I wasn't planning to do that, but yeah, depends who gets in, right? Gets tough.
Yeah,
I
I
could have
found
voted for 20 or
myself
30 pretty easily.
I found myself texting people that I'd voted for previously that didn't make this ballot. I'm just like, man, you got to make more videos or whatever the reason I had for leaving them off.
Oh, am I on?
Uh-oh.
Hey,
You're on.
What's up
You
there,
kept,
fruitcake? Boy, this party needs some jazzing up. Put me to sleep there.
I haven't seen a card yet, right, Mike?
Yeah, how come?
I'm sure someone's picked up some cards. I know Scott's been doing videos of all the pickups.
Let's see some cards. I got some
one
stories
person.
to tell tonight. One story I'm going to tell real quick.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this one.
Yeah.
Got to close the door for this one.
Must be the next room.
Sorry about
Don,
that.
we'll get you in.
Well, I need to do a VR. Can you guys give me 5 minutes?
It's Dave's channel. For sure. It's up to Dave.
What do you
Sure,
say,
man.
Dave?
Go for it. Go for
All
it,
right.
man.
So
Go for
I got a
it.
couple of ballpark memory stories for Brent that I wanted to tell. I didn't know when I'd get a chance to tell them, so I thought tonight would be a good night. Show a few things from my collection here. Anyway, the first story, you guys know the Casey Stengel story, so I'm not going to tell you that one. The day that they retired the Dodgers numbers, I was at the game. They retired Koufax, Campanella, and Jackie Robinson,
Yep.
and all on the same day, 1972. I was there. That's not the day. That's not the story that I'm going to tell you. So that was my number one story. But another story that I have is on May 19th, 1990. I took some notes here. I was at the Dodger game, and I had seats right behind home plate with buddies of mine. We were out. We always went out drinking, like to the Red Lion down the street, pound beers beforehand, just get hammered, show up like in the first or second inning or whenever we got there. And I've got my hands on quite a few foul balls. I've probably been to over 1,000 baseball games, maybe more. I don't know. I've lost count. But I've caught a few that I dropped them. I hit my watch one time, broke my watch. I threw my shoulder out from a McGuire foul ball one time, diving for the ball. But this one time, Fernando Valenzuela was pitching, and at the plate was Lenny Dykstra of the Phillies. And a pop fly comes up this is before they had all the netting, comes up over the screen, bounces around, and I look down, and down underneath there, I see the ball going around there, you see? And there's two kids sitting next to me. I go down on my hands and knees. I hook the ball with my foot. I knocked over all their drinks, and I pulled the ball. Fernando threw it, and Dykstra hit it. So fast forward. I'll show you that. I'll show you the ball. Here's the ball. So anyway, fast forward to like 1993. I had tickets on now the club level from KTLA. A friend of mine worked there, and this was on aisle 231 down the third baseline. And below me was the Drysdale seats because they worked for the Dodgers, Don Drysdale. So his family sat below me, and above me was Ross Porter. So they would come over and when we chat and everything. And I always got the tickets too for the Old Timers Day. And around 1993, I'm up there and I'm walking around, and there's Sandy Koufax, and literally like from here to there, and he's signing autographs for like three kids around there. And I just stand there. I'm going, oh my God, Koufax. I mean, I couldn't believe. I don't have a pen. I really wasn't into asking people for autographs then. But I said, next time I come, next year, I'm going to get the same. I have the same seats. I'm going to come back and I'm going to see Koufax, and I'm going to get him to sign this ball that Fernando threw that I caught. I don't know why it was this ball. So sure enough, I get tickets. A year later, I go back. Would you believe? No Koufax. He doesn't show up to the game. And then, but coming down to say hi to the Drysdales was Don Newcomb. He worked for so I said, Don, can you sign my ball? And Don Newcomb signed the ball. So I didn't get Koufax. And I don't know why I had him on a Sharpie, but I got Newcomb. So that brings me to Don Drysdale now, because his seats were there. That happened to be, one of the memories. But another memory was 1958. He came up with 57 with the Dodgers. He went to Van Nuys High School with my parents. My parents were in the 1950s at Van Nuys in the San Fernando Valley. They knew Drysdale. Their first date was at the Coliseum. They had, and right here, my mom wrote on these, Joe's and mine. And I had these displayed. You could see these used to be white. I had them displayed, and would you believe that it just faded away, sort of like my parents did. But Don Drysdale pitched that night, 1958, and he pitched a shutout. So it's pretty ironic that I would come full circle, and all these years later, get to meet Don Drysdale and speak with him, know Annie Myers and the family and the kid. My daughter was 4 years old. This was over 3 years ago. But we had those seats also when he died. The two things I remember. July 3rd, he died. And on the 4th, I know he was in Montreal, but I somehow remember that there was a Dodger game on the 4th that I had tickets to. And, of course, there's no Annie Myers or anything there. They're grieving or what. At the same time, Roy Campanella passed away a week before. So, but on the 4th of July, I was there, and this story is for Mookie, because the thing I remember was Vince Coleman, and they were playing the Mets. Vince Coleman and Bobby Bonilla were lighting M80s in the parking lot with Eric Davis. They were all in the same car. They were throwing M80s out of the car. And they actually hurt a 10-year-old boy, got all cut up on his shin, and a 1-year-old got hurt. And they said, oh, we're just throwing fireworks. They're throwing fucking M80s, these guys. Vince Coleman. So anyway, I thought that you guys would like those stories. And then on the 16th of July, they did remembrance where they retired Drysdale's number. And my memory of that day, first of all, it was my grandfather's birthday. He's already gone, but he was really instrumental in getting me involved in baseball. But Ann Myers was there with her 2 children. I brought my daughter, I had my ex-wife there at the time. And I just remember like crying. They were just doing all these things on the videos and literally just gushing tears. And here she was. She had a camcorder. You weren't allowed to bring, there was no cameras or anything allowed, no photos. But here she had the camcorder, and I just remember her like recording everybody and just watching and taking in the moment. And I was just bawling the entire time. It was really a sad day. But those are just some of my baseball memories, how they come into effect there, and hope I'm just happy to share those with you and tell you what a great Drysdale fan that I am. So thanks for indulging me in that.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Anybody else got any stories?
No one can follow that.
Can't top that one.
It's like going after the Beatles. Get it.
Yeah.
Well, that's all, folks. We'll see you guys later.
I just wanted to, I told you, maybe I should have just done a VR like everybody else.
You can make some actual videos.
I'm somebody else's channel.
Did a live VR.
That was a live VR. Yeah. I mean, I saw Kershaw's no-hitter, Dennis Martinez pitch a perfect game, and those games can't even hold a candle. I saw the Phillies come back one time, score 9 runs in the 9th inning to beat the Dodgers, 12-11. I've seen, I've seen quite a lot. So many games, so many stories like that. I'm starting to relive them more, especially thanks to Brent for asking about that. I kind of forgot about these things. You just kind of, what it's like, Stukes, when you get older like us. You've seen a lot of shit, but you forget.
I'm glad he pointed out Stukes.
Well, we're the only ones that are in the same age bracket, I think. So
I think I'm older than. Am I older than you, Stukes?
I don't think so.
Here's the thing. Like, there you go, Mike. You can see how old Drew looks.
I think he looks pretty damn good. Not as old as me.
Well, my only Don Driver memory was on the Brady Bunch. That's all I got.
Who was?
Don Drysdale. He was on the Brady
Oh,
Bunch.
that's right. That's right. He was on the Brady Bunch too. Well, of course. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Drew. Were you ever in Tuva's Enterprises in Omaha?
Oh, yes. I know where it's at. It's closed now.
The old store where he had a big beer sign, part of a billboard up on the wall with this like 1940s pinup model on there with their lips kissing the top of the beer bottle. Well, you know who signed right by those lips?
No.
Don Drysdale.
No shit.
Yeah.
Look what else I got. So I brought my Drysdale ball. Look at this. He had such a great signature. Look at that. Great ball on a nice William White. Gorgeous ball. And then, nobody collects pictures because they'd rather collect baseball cards. They don't want to look at the actual autographs. But I mean, look at the autographs on that thing. Look, these things are, it's like a work of art. Don Drysdale. Look at
These kids today, they can't sign autographs.
No, they can't. And look at how great they look on a photo when they can sign them on a sweet spot.
They don't have
there's
signature.
It's like now you get these signatures on these baseball cards. You can't even fucking see them. They're on the black. I think, look at my signature. And I like to look at it, except for it's all written through the black. I can see is one letter. Look at these. Photos are going to make a comeback someday when people get tired of these stupid fucking cards and all the fake autographs. You'll see. Fake ones.
I like that first one you had. That's like what, 56 from his rookie year.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
This one, and then the Brooklyn on this one too.
Yeah.
Did you ever get the family to sign something?
I never did. So when I was younger, like in my, my early teens, 10, 11, 12, I always asked for autographs. And they used to have them at the game, the Dodger games. You could go left field, right field. They had two guys signing. I always did. But as I got a little older, I think I was more into experiences. And I've had so many chances and, sitting next to Shaq, running into Dr. J at the Sahara Hotel with just me and my friend and Dr. J, and sitting down and playing a hand of blackjack with him. Mentioned Shaq, Magic Johnson, seeing him at 2:00 in the morning at Gladstone's with a girl on either hand, drunk out of my mind. And he, as he was walking towards us, took the time to shake all of our hands after a playoff game at Gladstone, like I said, 2:00 in the morning, closing the place down. But all these things that have crossed, I just kind of I remembered the experiences, and I said, "Oh, can I get your autograph?" In fact, the thing with Shaq, we sat we sat next to Shaq at a Clipper game. My friend had tickets right behind the basket. He was doing some work for the Clippers, and they paid him in tickets, so we get these tickets. The game's starting, and here comes Shaq holding his little baby in one arm like this, comes walking all the way down, and would you know, he sits right in front of us, like the two right here. So I'm like here to there to Shaq. You look down, his leg is that wide, literally, and the nicest guy in the world. Entertained us with the talking and everything like that. And my friend kept telling me, he goes, ask him for his autograph. Ask him for his autograph. I go, I don't want to ask him for his autograph. I'm enjoying the conversation. We're talking about the referee, how the referee sucks. And how, because I said, oh, the guy's pretty good. And Shaq goes, he sucks, the ref. And so after finally badgering me, I finally said to him, hey, Shaq, can we get your autograph? He goes, sure, man, no problem. He goes, right after the game. I go, okay, great. So we continue to talk to him. Guy gets up at halftime. He walks out. We never see him again. And so I'm going like, why would you do that to me? I had such a great memory, and then you gotta get me embarrassed by Shaq, But
this is why I asked you if you got the family, because I always hung out at the Maris golf tournament.
Yeah.
So one time I was there, I got the whole family to sign
Oh
it.
my gosh, that's great!
All the boys.
Look how Kevin Maris's autograph looks like Rogers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. All of them. Look at that.
Mrs. Maris.
Yeah, Sandra. and then you got it authenticated.
Yeah.
Mm,
I had a tough time getting it authenticated.
I would imagine.
First time PSA kept asking, is that Roger Sr.? And I had a date of like 2003 on the back, and I go, no,
Yeah.
it's Roger Jr.
Dated it. They'll say, not allowed.
Second time they authenticated it and slapped it and everything. So.
All right. Well, that's all I have. I have some Don Drysdale cards. Do you want to look at those while we're showing?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, because I know I saw Dave show some Drysdales, so there's a nice Drysdale.
Yeah.
Look at this is before I knew what I was doing. Look at the centering. Pretty nice. I mean, I got lucky on that one. This I think is one of my favorites. The 65. I don't know why. I just like that year.
The blue sky.
Yeah, beautiful. And then another 64 centering. See, I always looked for centering, even back then. I just couldn't always buy it. I mean, I just bought the best deal that I could get. And then, of course, 58. This is the year that my parents saw him pitch, and this is a tough card. If you guys, now none of them are tough, but. And then my terrible OC 59. But beautiful.
Sharpie, right? OC next to the 7 or what?
No, it didn't. It doesn't say OC, but I mean, it's not real. I don't know. I just like the way it looks. Great corners, So that's all I got.
wanna hear another
You said
story?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me hear some stories.
No, that's what Drew was saying. He wants to hear another story from you.
Oh shit! He wants to hear another. I have a good story for you. And in fact, Mookie, I see Mookie. I think he must be in the chat, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here's a good story, and for Tony too. These guys are really my buddies. I really love these guys. We chat a lot. But here's a story they don't, something they don't know about me. So back in high school, back in the old WWII, the big one, in 1978 and 79. I actually played a little baseball, played football only for a year because then they wanted us to cut our hair, and you can imagine how that went. Not very well. But on the baseball team, they let us grow our hair long, and we just had an amazing team. I actually, in 10th grade, I hadn't played since I was like 12. I just went out and practiced for a week, and I made the high school baseball team. I was short, fat, I was like a backup catcher, but I could hit. I was like a line drive hitter, made contact, never struck out. And but this team was world class. They were playing since Little League and since Pony and all that, and they had their little tight knit group, my high school friends. But I wanted to play, and so I made the team. Come, our 11th grade year, and we were at the Monroe Vikings in the San Fernando Valley, and our rival school was the Granada Hills Highlanders. They had a guy on that team that you may have heard of, John Elway. And he was, he's a pretty good baseball player, but definitely a much better football player. So the stories about Elway are just, legendary. But the things that he used to do, like when warming up football, so he would get on his knees at the 50-yard line. Now this was like in 1978 and 79. On his knees, and he would take the ball to warm up, and he would throw it through the goalposts. So he's throwing this ball on his knees 60 yards in practice, warm-ups. And then the players, his teammates, they would take the ball and they would throw it up in the air, make a spiral out of it. And he would hit the ball out of the air every time with the football. So they throw it up, he'd throw the ball, bam, right on. This was before the game. So if that wasn't intimidating, so their football team obviously was great. Our football team was the worst ever, and I didn't play against them. But I did play pickup basketball. A lot of my friends played basketball around town, and that was my favorite sport, but short, fat, and not very good. You're not going to get far. But I could elbow, I could knee, I could do a lot of things, But one of my memories with him was because he would play at Cal State Northridge here at the college with us. I had that little handheld Mattel game. I seem to have like an inkling always to get like these gadgets first, be the first one to get them somehow. So when they came out with that Mattel football game, the beep, 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 beep. Do you remember that? Anybody? Is anybody? So you guys remember that? I had that. Yeah, it was not Tecmo, but it was Mattel.
Yeah.
And it just had the blips, right? And I brought that to the to football or to the basketball game or pickup games, and he saw us playing that, and he came up, and then we got to talking to him and told him we were from Monroe and blah blah blah. And he said, "Hey, can I see that game?" And I go, "Sure." And he took the game and he sat there and he played it for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm going, that's unbelievable. Elway just played my game. I told my dad, I go, Dad, you should see this Elway. He's a great athlete and he's going to be in the pros someday. He goes, would you shut up? He goes, these kids, that's not going to be in the pros. He's nothing. Sure enough, just great. So that leads me into my baseball story. So because he played baseball, our team was number 1 in the city, and we played Granada 2 times a year, and we beat them both times. So now it comes down to the city finals, and we played a team called Crenshaw High. They played Compton, I think, or somebody else. They won their game. Our game is at Cal State Northridge. And of course, I don't play. I'm the backup. I'm a third string catcher. I'm in the bullpen. I know I'm not playing. Maybe I'll get a chance to pinch hit or something if I'm lucky. I think I had 10 at bats, 3 hits. But anyway, we're playing Crenshaw. They've got a guy on their team named Chris Brown. He was a professional, and another guy named Daryl Strawberry. Okay. And I remember the first inning. Strawberry, get this guy Strawberry, and he's tall and lanky, and he's got a fucking aluminum bat. Pardon my French. Can you imagine that guy with an aluminum bat? And Cal State Northridge is about 400 all the way around, maybe 420 to center. Nobody's hitting homers out of there. He hits a ball in the first inning that I swear I looked at my friend next to me. I go, what did we just see here? And heard, it was like it made a noise and a blast that like you've never seen in high school before. And sure enough, these guys were just awesome, but playing against him. The worst thing is that we actually were leading that game 7-2 in the sixth inning, seventh inning, or I forget how many innings we played. No, it was the last inning. My best friend played shortstop, blonde hair, like great shortstop. He was hitting about 400, steal every base, make every play at short. Last play of the game, they pop up. It's an easy pop up, and he dropped the ball, if you can believe it. This is like Mr. Destiny. He has everything going for him. He's driving a Camaro. He's not, just all the girls are all over him. Looks blonde-haired, thin, looks great. Drops that ball. We proceed to lose that game. The coach is panicking. He's bringing in a lefty that's never even pitched before. Our center fielder never pitched a game. He brings him in, and that guy actually ended up pitching in a movie, of all things. But he ends up walking three guys, and that error opened up the door. We lost. So now we go to Dodger Stadium, and we play the consolation game against Compton. Crenshaw and Granada Hills High play. So if it's not enough to lose that game, to have Granada playing for the championship when we beat them twice that year. Sure enough, Granada Hills, they win the championship, city final. We win third place. Who gives a shit? And then my buddy, his life after that was never the same. I mean, he really ended up being, like me, shorter, fatter, less successful. Anyway, that's a great story about Strawberry. So I wanted to tell that's my Strawberry story. Hope you enjoyed it.
That's great.
Very good.
You like those? Anybody? Are we getting any chat? Anybody chatting?
I'm sure Mookie enjoyed it. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people are just popping in, saying hello, and
that's right, Mookie. I mean, it was Elway and Strawberry in the final. That is true. Yeah. That happened 1979. Incredible.
Wasn't Eric Davis? Didn't he play with Strawberry too, or something in high school? Or they just know each other.
They played in the same. They played in the same. He was on another team there. They didn't make it though, but they weren't teammates, but they were friends because they grew up in South Central together.
Yeah, I thought
Eric Davis. In fact, did I mention Eric Davis on that Vince Coleman? That Vince Coleman
Throwing M80.
M80? Yeah, throwing M80s. He was the one, him and Bonilla were in the car. I don't know if I mentioned that. So it's Vince Coleman, Eric Davis, Bobby Bonilla. Vince Coleman.
So where was Greg Jeffries in California?
Greg Jeffries? That I don't know. Did he play in California? I don't remember.
I think he played with Barry Bonds' brother.
Maybe that was up north near San Francisco. I know Bond, and that was probably much later than my time. Even Bonds, I think, just turned 60, so I'm a little older than him.
They were in the Legion World Series in '83, so I was just wondering.
Is it? Yeah, so that makes about right. That's about right. Makes sense. And then I know Bonds, he played in Arizona in college, I think, right? Is that right?
Arizona State.
Arizona State, yeah. So he wasn't very well liked in college either.
Well, this was his brother that was in the Legion Series with Jeffries.
Yeah, what do you guys think of Bonds?
Great player, bad choices.
Yeah. I mean, I like him. I actually like the guy. My memories of him at the games were he was actually playful with the fans and the kids. I mean, the kids would boo him we would be standing over there by the left field, before the game, and just watching how he'd warm up there and stuff, And he was always like staring down the kids, and then he would laugh. He was just trying to have fun with them, and they would boo him, boo, like 10-year-olds booing him. I'm like telling these kids, I'm going, guys, you're booing this guy. He's probably the best hitter you're ever going to see in your lifetime. We didn't boo up other teams' players. I was brought up, to have respect for the game. When they made a great play, we clapped, we marveled at it, we enjoyed it. We didn't boo other players. We just, I just wasn't
later in his
that way.
career, there's something that he did that it kind of bugged me. He kind of disrespected his own pitcher. He'd stand there in the outfield, left field, and he thought of as a home run. He wouldn't even move. Now, occasionally that ball would hit the fence and roll back in, and he wasn't anywhere close to the ball. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. Yeah, I remember that. I know that he would be lackadaisical. These were the things that his teammates hated about him. He wasn't very well liked. I think Mookie was mentioning the other day somewhere that he used to have a recliner at the ball games, and he would. It was his, and then I didn't realize that the recliner traveled with him to the visiting parks, and he'd have all the rookies. The rookies would have to, carry it in, set it up for him, and. But I don't know. He doesn't get much respect, and he was a great player before he took steroids. All right, so guys, I can't tell anymore. I can't tell all my stories in one night. So.
Save those for your channel, Mike.
That's why you need videos.
Well, why do videos when I could tell them live?
I suppose spread them out a little more.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice actually to put it like if I was a storyteller like Tony. I always bring him up because he's just such a great storyteller, and the way he soft spoken and so articulate. I'd love to be like him, but I'm not. Sorry.
Who I saw your video. Who are you going to get next, Bench or Ryan? Who's next up on that goal for you?
Bench is next because that just comes down to finding the card I want on eBay, which I got my eye on one that's ending tomorrow. And then Ryan's already, the TTM request is already sent out. So that's just a matter of waiting, for him to sign it and for his foundation to return it. So I'm pretty much, even though I'm like halfway to my goal of hitting those 4, it's really just a matter of just buying the bench and waiting for it to come because I consider it pending. Other than that, just waiting on Ryan. So,
did you say what year you wanted to get?
Pretty excited that I was able to make a plan and follow it because it's not like me. So, a good sign for the future, maybe.
What year of bench are you having him sign? If you said it, I didn't hear it.
Oh, on the bench, I don't have any specific card in mind or anything like that. Just something I would like that would look good on the Hall of Famers on the case here. So that's nice because then I have some actual freedom. Whereas with Fisk, I wanted that 73 because I have so many 73s already done. And with the Koufax, I wanted that Great Moments because I just love that set. It fell within my budget for it. And the Ryan I have out, that's also a 73. So the bench will be the only one that I could just sort of get whatever I think looks good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting quite a few of the Great Moments. I'm up to, I got 4 now. So I got Koufax, Matthews, Snyder, and Babe Martin. Is that his name? I should know. Hold on. I'm just going to get him. Billy Herman.
I don't know. I want a 68 and a 69 bench. That's what I want.
All right. Put me on full screen. Someone's got to show some cards. Okay, here's the Koufax. I made a whole video about that.
That's beautiful.
And I'm gonna be different and not apologize for my glare. Just to be different. Maybe I like glare. Maybe glare needs some respect. Here's a Matthews. And I love the horizontal landscape style. This card has a lot of things I love in it. It's an autograph, it's horizontal, it's fielding, it's oversized, it's an artwork card.
Yeah.
I mean, this
classic stadium background.
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful artwork. Here's the Snyder, which I got at a, not LCS, but card shop a little bit south of Seattle. And that one's got a JSA on it. And then Billy Herman, no cert on it. But before shipping, $5 off eBay. Couldn't say no to it because, again, fielding card horizontal. Yeah. So that's my great moments. And I do plan on getting more. I don't have any particular ones that I need to have. But I noticed when I was walking around at the National and didn't really have those on my goal list for the National last year, they were all over the place. And I thought, hey, if I came with a different plan, I would probably be buying quite a few of those. So you might see some of that in Chicago for sure.
You mentioned that 69 bench. That's my favorite of his too.
Oh yeah. Love the trophy cards.
That's a nice looking card.
Yeah, it is. And it's not a dumb panel card, which gets me all worked up. It's a great card.
I have a, what is it, Johnny, bench card for you guys?
What is that?
I've never seen that. Interesting shape on that.
Is Mangini still here? Let's see if he can get it. He's probably already got 3 of them.
Yeah. I'd like to see
Well,
some of
Scott
the
probably knows what it is. Let's see. I'm guessing it came out from a shoebox.
Pretty close.
Blank back.
Blank back. It's cut off. I think it's the 1971 Topps box. Somebody cut it off and had it for sale at a show, and I'll take that.
Room key. Did he have his own hotel like Mantle did? Yeah.
No, wasn't there like somebody was talking about like they went to some card show and like the hotel had like cards or like players or something on the hotel card keys or something? I can't remember. I think I heard that somewhere. It'd be kind of interesting.
I saw Brent Richards jumped in the chat. I hope he heard the live VR for his by Mike Petty.
All right, I have a question for you guys. It's just a curiosity kind of thing. What was the moment that got you into collecting cards? Like, what was that awe moment?
For me, it was the Kellogg's cards. I'm looking for. I thought I had one here. You remember the Kellogg's cards, right?
Came with the cereal.
Yeah, actually, I have one right here, Vita Blue. Those, when I was a little kid, I was eating a lot of frosted flakes and Raisin Bran, and so I'd pull those out, have cereal, and run over to my grandma's house and go, I haven't had cereal. Do you got any cereal? And she goes, so I was manipulating my mom and my grandma at the same time, so they would buy me Frosted Flakes and keep pulling baseball cards.
That's great.
That's a true story. I never told my grandma that.
For me, my brother, I have 2 older brothers, and the younger of the 2 is just a couple years older than me. He was buying packs of football cards in early 80s, and so I just wanted to be like him, and so I'd buy some with him. And at one point, I probably had football cards of Montana rookies and Marino and all that stuff, and I had no idea what happened to them. And then I think there was probably a couple of years where I wasn't really that into it. And then I became a baseball fan in between the 86, 87 season and started gobbling up. That's when you buy cards anywhere. You all know that. And really, since then, I mean, there's been a couple lulls where I haven't collected too much and changed my focus, sold things or whatever. But for the most part, I've been a collector ever since then.
Okay.
Well, for me, I just kind of stumbled into it. Went up to the grocery store to get my mom a few groceries, and she gave me 10, 15 cents or whatever. And looking at the candy section, and there's a thing that says baseball and bubble gum, and I grabbed it and took it home and opened them up. And, you know, there's 1967 Alkaline, Don Drysdale in the back. Asked my dad. My dad pointed those two guys out as being good players. And, you know, a little while later, my dad pulls out his exhibit cards and said, like, boy, those things are big back in the old days.
Yeah.
That's basically how I got started. After that, I kept buying stuff, and then I found out a few of my friends from school had cards, so we did some trading. We'd meet up in front of the store and open our packs outside, waiting to see who got what.
I
Chewing
figured
on the bubble gum. Chewing on the bubble gum.
I figured your first card was an exhibit card.
No. They were. I started the year after they quit making them. So it's kind of unique. My dad's cards stopped being produced the year before I bought my first cards. So kind of a strange cutoff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, as my brother as well. Just like he was a Cardinals fan, so again, like most good brothers, I had to pick a different team to root for. So I rooted for the Cubs. We grew up in like the Midwest, right? So, so I just if he got packs, I wanted to get packs too, kind of thing. You know, 6 or 7 years old. So and they were everywhere. They're at every grocery store, every gas station. Yeah. So back then we bought team sets. So like, they used to just sell team sets, and that was a lot easier way to get what you wanted, right? Like at the card shop, they like package them in team sets. That's how easier for my parents just to buy them that way. That way we got what we wanted. So we didn't open a ton of packs because we weren't super. Even back then, even though they were a quarter, we did buy a ton of packs in the mid '80s. So.
Okay. I think for me I was in Little League, and then I was at the grocery store, and I think I just seen something that said baseball on it or something. My mom bought me a pack. I think it was 85 tops at the time. And after that, it was just like I was a Tigers fan, you know, so I was like, you know, lived in Michigan. So it was just like, all right, Tigers. So I was just worried about Tigers players, and, you know, like nobody else mattered. Like they were the best team ever. But, you know, I mean, they just won the World Series in '84. So, but yeah, it was. And then going in '85 to a Tigers game was like a highlight because like Kirk Gibson was like my favorite player at the time for some reason. I don't know why, but that's how I got into it.
He was a tight end in Michigan State, if I'm not mistaken. Kirk Gibson.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure he was.
I know he played football. I didn't know what position.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a tight end in Michigan State.
Does anyone know how he's doing, by the way? I know quite a while ago he was diagnosed with something not great, but it was years ago. Does he does he get around, or does anyone know?
I don't know.
Jason. 11 seconds of goodness.
Yeah.
You know, my mom used to buy me these at the grocery store.
Oh, the trays. Yeah.
Yeah, so I still got those.
69 cents.
69 cents for an unopened. This is 1980.
Yeah,
I tell you what,
it's
I'll triple your money on that right now.
There's a Ricky in there.
And he also had these. And he
Wow.
also had these.
More discipline than me.
The gum. This is the gum on the bottom, and it had the little scratch
I've
off.
never seen that. That's cool.
Scratch offs on the back, and I think you could play a game. I think there's like a little score.
Those are awesome, Drew.
You see
What
those?
are called? Those are really neat.
But I opened up so many of these that I memorized the sequence in which Ricky Henderson would appear. Now, you're not gonna, you had to find either the cello or rack packs or these to look for the right card on the front or the card on the back in order for me to figure out if Ricky Henderson was in it. But that was so I ended up with a fairly decent stack of Ricky Hendersons at one time.
That's great.
Rest in peace, I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right. Who was your favorite player as a kid?
Well, it was Ricky Henderson and Nolan Ryan were the two guys that. And so at the National, Dave was my my videographer, right? I got my jersey signed by Ricky Henderson. So yeah, that's why I opened up so many 1980 packs.
And how many Ricky Hendersons did you end up getting?
All in all, I probably had at one time 15 of them. Yeah, let's see. I think I've got one sitting here yet. I've sold a few of them because I needed a little cash to buy that Willie Mays, 53 Willie Mays a few years ago, but 2 years ago. Let's see. Oh yeah, here's got it in a 9. That was
Whoa.
best one I ever pulled, but I still got like, I don't know, a few.
So what are the rest of them? What are they graded at? You got a 9 and a.
These are 8s. 8. Yeah, these are all 8s.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it or not.
Jeez.
I got to say, if I pulled those cards in 1980 and then graded them however many years ago you graded them, they would not be 8s and 9s.
Yeah.
Right.
It might not be in one piece.
He was one of my guys, so I really protected it.
Yeah.
Drew didn't have friends, so he kept his cards nice.
That's right. Yeah. No, I think the worst one that I ever had graded was I think it was a 6. It was really, really badly miscut. But anyway.
Yeah, well, Ricky was my favorite too. That's well chronicled on the channel and everything. And
Yeah.
but I'm not claiming him as mine. He was the things I liked about him, everyone liked about him. So that was a crazy day. I was driving with my wife to do Christmas with some family in Southern Oregon, and I'm driving and my phone's lighting up, and it's my brother and my cousin and a couple other people sending me texts, and all the links are like Reddit and all this stuff. And I sort of just, I'm refusing to believe this. I think it's a hoax. And my cousin sent me a funny comment. I think he got it from someone else, but it was Ricky would tell you when Ricky's dead. And that made me laugh. And we're getting gas. I said, this is a hoax. It's dumb that people do this. And I was upset about that because for a second, I kind of believed it. And then we get back in. I drive like 30 more miles. And then now my phone's really lighting up. And so we pull over again and I check and confirm, what had happened, that it was official. And my wife drove the rest of the way so I could like text and post and whatever and kind of process that. But too young, way too young.
Yeah. Hammer time.
Here you go, Eddie. That's your card. You get your card.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, I still have, if anyone's in the room that asked me about one, I still have a couple that I'm sending out to people that said they wanted them. I have not had stamps, and other than to send that Ryan out in probably 3 weeks. So I'll get on it.
Well, Hammer, is this your first live?
No. First of all, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I've done a couple with in the card room live, but yeah, every now and then I'll make an appearance.
Okay. Well, thank you for making your first appearance on my show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for sending me let me know that you were having a live stream. Otherwise, I would have just plain missed it. I got so many things going on, so many irons in the fire right now. So it's good to see a lot of folks there. Matt, how you doing?
Good. Good. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Yep. Scott, Eddie, Drew.
Hey.
Yep.
Hey.
I'm keeping up with all you guys on when you're posting your videos, but other than that, it gets, again, there's just not enough time in the day these days.
We're going to see a video from Hammer 44 soon or not?
I've got a couple I've been working on. And so I know you guys were talking about games before. And so I've got one that I'm working on. It's a pretty iconic, historic game in an event that will never happen again, certainly not in our lifetimes. But it's a pretty personal one, but it definitely worth the time for let me get it done correctly. So, and then I've got another one on that I've been working on, and kind of in that same vein, but not a game that I've been to, but a game that this is the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future. So if Doc showed up with his DeLorean and said, "Hey, you can go to any game you want to," I figured out which game that would be. And that's an interesting process to go through because there's so many you could go to, but it meets all my criteria. Hall of Famers, favorite team, beaten teams that I don't care too much for, championships, all those types of things. So I'm working on that one as well. But I do have a couple of them in the works, but they just take me a long time. And when they're ready, I post them. Otherwise, they just kind of sit and I work on them when I get the opportunity to.
Well, they're worth the wait. I mean, they're well done.
Yeah, no, Drew, I've been watching. I saw your Eddie Watt one. I tell you, because of your connection with Eddie Watt, I've become a big Eddie Watt fan. I mean, that guy's tremendous, and it's just proof of. I mean, think about these guys who were playing the game back then, and in the last interview, he was making $400 a month, leaving his family just to pursue a professional baseball career. Could you imagine if kids did that today?
Well, if you don't mind a plug. On the 11th, I'm going to do a live with Eddie Watt, a Q&A for the community.
Oh,
so
wow.
if you're available, stop in and ask Mr. Watt a question. And I'm going to, John Mangini was very gracious. He offered to host it on his channel. So, yeah.
No, that's awesome. And we need to take advantage of, if we have connections to these players, we've got to capture their story. We need to, all of us need to be bringing those folks into the community as much as we can, so we can capture their stories. Because how many he played in 3 World Series? Is that correct?
Yeah, he was on 4 World Series teams. 1976, he didn't pitch. Mo Drabowski was the only relief appearance.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to a World Series game, but can you imagine pitching in a World Series game? I mean, I can't even fathom that in my mind.
Yeah. So, February 11th on John Mangini's channel, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. So you can make it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think I hope to actually do a number of those this summer with him. He enjoys doing it. So the technology piece is the part. He's going to be in San Diego when we do this one. So,
Drew, are you going to be taking questions for that?
Yeah, well, initially what I wanted to do is just have people pop on screen, ask a question, and then jump back off. But I've never really done a hosted a live. Of course, John's hosting the live. I don't know if we'll have a lot of traffic, if it'll be too much to have people jump on screen, or maybe we just need to take the questions from the chat. I don't know. I was talking with Dan about that too. So he kind of thought maybe just taking the question from the chat might be better, but he might be right. We'll see.
Yeah, I just got done rereading Ball 4, and there was an incident in there where Eddie Watt and somebody put goldfish in the water, the clubhouse water in Seattle.
Okay,
so I'm asking about that, how that came about.
That's on my list. I spoke to Mr. Watt's daughter, who told me that story.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
The second I heard, I actually didn't. It was a book on tape, so I could listen to it on the way to work. And the second I heard, and by the way, I recommend that to anybody. Jim Bouton does the reading himself, and it's really well done. It's very long. It's like 12 hours. But there's parts where he's laughing, and since he's the author and he experienced this, like only he can like give the true inflection and everything of the stories.
Yeah.
But the minute I heard Eddie Watt's name, I thought of you, and I thought, if I can ask Eddie Watt about the goldfish, I will. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, do that. We'll have him tell that story.
Yeah, and I saw in the chat where Orlando's trying to link up with Camilo Pascual. Holy cow, would that be amazing?
Oh,
yeah, it would be.
Yeah, and then Eddie, I heard you talking about Johnny Bench. So I was went to the Culture Collision card show in Atlanta last Saturday, and last year it was mostly modern and hardly any vintage. This year it was the exact opposite. There was a ton of vintage and hardly any modern. But this is one I picked up.
Oh, nice.
Oh. There we go.
Flip.
Wow.
Dang.
Oh, I like the label for that.
Nice.
Yeah, and I wasn't looking for it, but I just happened to be talking to a guy, and apparently somebody had come up previously and had asked him or was selling him cards, and I had bought. Which one did I? I think I bought this. I think I bought this one right here, and this relates to one of the videos that I was talking about. But I bought this one, and then he goes, "Hey, I got another one you might be interested in," and he flipped this one at me, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take that." And for what he offered it to me for, I couldn't pass it up because they were worried about how much it was going to cost to grade it, and I'm like, I don't grade cards anymore, so here you go. So I was pleased to get that, and then also at that show, I was able to pick up. I had been looking for this one for a while. And I've been working on the 1960 set because my dad gave me his partial set of 1960. So I've been working on this for over 40 years now, but I never had the Hank Aaron. So I was able to pick that one up. And then in that same deal, I was able to grab this one. So I got a 2-for-1 and a really, really good price. And so, but really excited to get that. But it was it was a really, really good show. And then here's the last one I got. Don't mind the slab, but I've got several of the baseball thrills, but I didn't have this particular one. So this and I love this one, and also this is the first
Man down.
That was my cat. Woo! All right.
This is live and unprepared.
That's right.
I'll
go get my cat because he's I just got him recently too. So, but I picked up that one, and I love the thrill set because this was the first time that they were cards that weren't just a profile of the player. So, I'm alive. I'm good. Okay.
Man down.
That's right. I am going to check on my cat. I'm going to go get him real quick.
Yeah.
He's fine.
He's a new pickup.
Yeah. So he jumped. So I have some musical.
Dropped the hammer.
He did. Yeah. So he jumped up over here on something that he was a little bit heavy for. When I get him, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm glad I could give you guys entertainment.
Yeah. I was just admiring how nice those cards were. I mean, really great copies too.
Orlando wanted to see the flip on your bench again and read it.
Yeah.
Your flips, man, are just like crazy.
I was wondering what your QR code does. Does that go to your YouTube channel, or is it like a registry that you made?
It just goes to my YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
Because ultimately, hopefully, most of these cards will end up on that channel eventually. So this is just a way to curate what I currently have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you order those flips or do you make them yourself?
No, I make them myself.
Yeah.
Make them myself. Okay, all right. I got to go get Apollo, and so you can introduce and see who created all that chaos. Cats
Yeah.
are notorious. They do what they want to, and they will, for the most inopportune time, they will create a scene like that.
No, that was an opportune time.
I'll be right back.
Oh, that was great.
I thought he was down. I was like, he's still talking.
Yeah, there was like a pause there. I thought like something really had happened, but
Oh God.
I'm grateful he's okay.
Yeah. It's like,
Well, I'm not ambitious enough to do the two-sided flips like everybody else, but I love being able to customize labels. And so I have a ton of these action-packed cards autographed. And I gave it a black label with a kind of goldish border. And I have
you did a good job.
a display of about 30 of them here, which I can't show you right now because I'm using my camera. But these are really cool. If anyone, I mean, I recommend these to anybody if you haven't considered it, because it makes the card look real nice, and you're not giving PSA money for no reason, and you can personalize. I have one I showed in my Hall of Fame nominations video. I have a card, a Harvey Haddock's autograph I got from Junk Wax Hero, and I was able to customize it and put, from Junk Wax Hero on there. So I'll always have that. Oh, my flips are famous. Well, the taint flip.
Yeah, Lewis, the one you got to Mike's hilarious.
Yeah. Yep, I've got a mile.
There you go. There was the man that was down.
There's the cat.
He's no small cat. That's why it created that chaos.
Mm-hmm.
No cats were hurt in the filming of this live, right?
No
Cameras.
Alex is in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Now you know why I don't come on live very often.
You're around the Atlanta area, right?
I am. I'm just outside of Auburn, Alabama. So, but I also spend time up in the St. Louis area too.
I was wondering, like, how far you were from South Carolina. So that's why I was.
Yeah. So South Carolina, like Greenville, South Carolina would be like 4.5 hours for me.
Okay.
You're splitting time between Alabama and St. Louis, you said?
I do. So
how long of a drive is that for you?
it's about it depends on which way I go. I-65 is just, the traffic is horrendous between here and Nashville, especially in the beach season, because I mean it's horrific. So, but if I pick up 22 coming out of Birmingham and go up through Memphis, it'd take me about 9.5 hours.
Ooh.
If I go up and can get good traffic going up through Nashville, it'd take me about 8.5 hours.
Okay.
Is everyone going to Chicago this year?
Yeah.
Planning on it. Yeah. Oh man, get to see Scott.
Eddie, are you going?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amber, you're going, aren't you?
Chicago, yeah. I plan to. The challenge with Chicago this year for me is it's also the same week. It's the same weekend as the Street Rod Nationals in Louisville, Kentucky. They coincide. The Street Rod Nationals are always the first weekend in August. And so this year, the National in Chicago lines up right with that. So if I go up to Chicago, it'll only be for that, probably the Wednesday, Thursday. Then I can travel down on Friday, and I plan to take my plan to take my car to the Hot Rod Nationals this year.
What do you got?
I have a 31 Ford Roadster hot rod.
So I'm guessing you have another YouTube channel just for your car?
No, nope. Just I only have this one. I did show it. I did a video about hobbies, and I used the car in that photo shoot or that video shoot.
I remember.
All right, well, I'm going to bail. I got to do some stuff around here. But thanks for having me on, Dave. I'll keep track of you on the
Anytime, Eddie.
live here.
Hey, Eddie.
Good to see you, Eddie. Good luck with the votes.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, good luck.
Well, in honor of Matt and Corey,
Oh yeah, the 56. That's a beautiful card.
Yeah, it's nice.
55.
Yeah, 55. Yeah, I have one. I have one as well. Mine's a little. Yeah, I have one as well.
There we go.
Yeah, this was my dad's.
Y'all's were both really nice. Mine's not that great a shape.
Yeah, the thing. So the story behind. I mean, obviously, I got this one from my dad, but this is one where I failed to take a picture of it before I mailed it in. And SGC, if you look down in the between the K and the E, there's a little wrinkle in Milwaukee, right there below the K and the first E, and
Yep.
I'm positive that SGC did that. Absolutely positive. It's one of those things that has turned me off to grading. One, it's just all the scamming that goes on with the grading, and everybody is so focused in on a grade versus the card or the players. But that was one where, and I do have pictures of it, but just not before I sent that in, and it was clear that there was no crease in it, and then I get it back, and it's got that crease in it, and just kind of sours me to that.
Yeah, no. Billy Ballgame's been having like last 2 shipments, like his orders had issues and stuff, and he's like, I don't remember this stuff being there. So
Before the Chicago in 2023, I had a card damaged. It wasn't an expensive card. It was actually my buddy's. And I sent them pictures, and they responded right away and said, yep, our fault. We'll reimburse you completely for it.
That was the Olympic card, wasn't it, or something? Or
What's that?
was that the Olympic card or whatever it was? Or
It was a what kind of card it was? It was a Michael Jordan Olympic card.
yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of creased it up on the top up here. I don't know if they pinched it when they put it in the slab or the plastic, but it's kind
What
of.
were you going to show? You were going to show something, Scott. What were you going to show?
Say again?
I thought Scott had a card he was going to show us.
Oh yeah.
Is he frozen?
Oh,
Oh yeah, there you go. 68 bazooka.
Yeah.
one I had sitting on my desk. There's one up on the wall back there too. Does that look familiar, Matt? The poster up on the wall?
Heck yeah. I got one of those,
Right
but mine's not framed up yet. It's still in between cardboard. Needs to see the light of day.
Yeah, I love Scott's exhibit collection. I mean, it's just the best out. I mean, it's just the best out there.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
It's funny how you you go anywhere, card show, like if you're out like thrift stores, like wherever, and you see like certain things, it makes you think of certain people in the hobby or a couple people, so it's like exhibits, it's Scott, like certain players or certain collectors in the hobby. It's just crazy.
Well, it's the same thing can be said for when you buy a card at a show and you're walking with, somebody, and Hammer helped me out with my 55 Clemente. So every time I look at my 55 Clemente, I think of Hammer 44.
And every time I think of Cleveland, I just think of eating that nasty Tops gum. Thanks, Drew.
Yeah.
Remember that video.
You guys were
Should have pulled a Hall of Famer.
You guys were good sports, Dave.
Yeah.
We had 4 people that lost that on that competition, right? 4 of you had to chew, right?
Yeah. You had the video. I thought you took a video of that.
It's out there.
did.
It's
I
out
posted
there.
I posted it.
Here's another one for Matt.
Eureka, you found it.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the whole book. The whole book's published. Nice.
Yeah, I got the whole book. Picked it up at a show for $75. It's
Oh wow, that's cool.
got a nice cover on it.
I've been buying the Wheaties stamps one sheet at a time, but I don't have a complete book yet. I'm sure you probably have. Do you have a complete book of the 64 Wheaties too? There it is. I love the red and blue. I want to get one. Is yours? Are the sheets still in there? Are they intact?
No.
Actually, they all put on the
They're
page.
they're all stuck in the proper position.
What year was that, Stu?
64.
It kind of reminds me of a 53 wrapper, Topps
Then
wrapper.
there's a 63 football.
Yeah, I know Orlando showed that one time too. He has that one.
Okay.
Those are really cool too. I've been buying the sheets. I got the Spawn sheet in just this week.
And I do have the Giants one with the sheets in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Is that the 50? Is that the golden stamps?
Yeah, 55. And people do cut out the cards from the cover, and PSA does grade those.
I know. I saw that. That's a racket. Corey's right. It's a racket. I want. Now I got to buy those. I have the sheets for the Braves, and then I got all the trio. But now I got to buy the front page where someone cuts them out. Anyway, I'm sure I will. Sadly, just got to find them. Stu, I thought of you. I finally got one of these 64. You like those? You like the tattoos?
Yeah,
I like the yellow.
I got the blue.
So.
I got the blue.
Yeah. I didn't realize there was more than one color that year. I thought 60 was. Is 60 blue too, or no?
60 is green.
Green. It's green. That's right. It's green. They're all green. And then 60 peachy, though, is yellow, right? And then there's Venezuelan ones too, I think, right? That are really hard to find.
Mm-hmm. Well, peachies are hard to find.
I know. I've never even seen an Aaron one for sale yet. There's a Drysdale. Speaking of Drysdale, out there.
Yeah. Yep.
Drysdale has a bunch of bazookas too.
Yeah, the dealer friend you have had a panel. I think I want to say graded. I can't remember his name. I always forget his name. The gentleman from Minnesota. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were packed when I was there at the Dallas Card Show, as always.
It's hard working at their booth.
What was
I
that,
like that
Scott?
Matthews you got, Corey. That 57 Matthews you have is really nice. I need to get that one still.
Yeah, this one isn't interesting. I mean, when you look at it,
Hold on.
and again, the grade. I mean, this one's a really hard one to get centered. Any 57 is really hard to get centered, but it's a 2. And so, but I really don't care about the grade. But why it is because it's got the remnants of the gum on the back,
Okay.
the wax. And so, but for what I needed, it's this one. You won't find it. It'd be hard to find one that's not got a whole lot of snow. That is way wildly off center, or the corners have just been rubbed raw. So when I saw this one, and I got it for a really, really good price.
No, that one really looks nice.
Yeah, and again, it's the aesthetics. I mean, I don't care about that. I don't care about this flip. I care about that card, and it's a nice looking card.
It is.
Yeah. And then Matt, I was wondering, are you into this? Are you into this set?
The Topps Living. I
Yeah.
actually, it's funny. I put a watch on one of those today. I think, yeah, they're on. You can get it really inexpensively, right? Because a lot of people buy them in bulk, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
it's terrible.
yeah. This one was probably $4, something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is just so
Awesome.
I mean, yeah, that is probably if he were to have a good card in 1976, that's what it would look like.
Yeah. Because his 76 card, I happen to have mine here. I just got the Opeachy in yesterday, and yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, but he's got that batting helmet on. This one is without that. I mean, it's got the
Much better.
It's the hat, yeah. And so, yeah, his birthday's coming up this week, actually,
Yep, February 5th.
on the
Yep.
5th.
I love that 53 design.
Yeah,
Matt,
Yeah, that Topps Living, I love that Topps Living set. That's one of the few modern sets that I'll actually collect.
That's the second one, right? He's had two cards.
He has. So this one's 755 because obviously it was in honor of his 755 home runs. But yeah, he's got a Braves one, but the Braves one is not very good. It was early on in the set.
Like 2021 or something.
It was very early. It was very early on in the series, but it's just a profile.
Yeah.
And in fact, that was the very first graded card I ever got. Was that in a PSA 10? I just don't have it. I just don't have it right here with me.
Yeah, mine's in a drawer back there. I have that one. I haven't got the Brewers one yet.
Yeah, but I prefer I really like that Brewers one. And Spawn, they just did one on Spawn recently too. Within the last 6 months or so. I haven't picked that one up yet.
Yeah, I saw that Carlisle had it. I think, right? So yeah, I need to get it.
Yeah, and then another card I got at the good vintage at Culture Collision is I've also been working on the Hall of Famers from 1961. I've been doing this for 20 years or so, but that's the latest one I got.
Oh, rookie card.
Nice. Yeah, and this one's a tough one to get centered as well, and they're not really expensive, but every card you get to something that you're working on just makes it that much more fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm working on I added Matthews to the fray now, as you can see, right? So I've been trying to finish off runs where all three of them are in it, right? I kind of enjoyed my own little mini runs, I guess, right, for the three players.
Right. Yeah, and again, I mean, I'll buy graded cards, but I've actually started cracking them out now as well. So I know that Legends Never Die. Is that Jake?
Jake, yeah.
Yeah. I think he's been doing that religiously for a while, pun intended. And so, but I've started to do the same thing as well. In fact, see if I have it here. I do have it here. I just got to find it. Is it? Yeah. So this one, this is like if my house is on fire, this is one that I would go get. But this used to be in an SGC 4, and I cracked it out. It's much better this way. And then on it, I include, I have the dirt, and obviously the 10 is the highest.
Damn, that's nice. So you're gonna do that to like all your graded cards? Just crack them out?
If they mean something to me, I will. But for right now, it's really the sentimental ones, because it takes a little bit of time to design the like here's the Koufax, here's a 66 Koufax. Because and the hardest part, believe it or not, is trying to match the color so that it complements the card. Mm-hmm. And so I've got the dimensions down, but the colors, and depending on which printer I use, I get different levels of what I would consider correctness. So it just takes a little while to do those flips. So as time allows me, I'll do it. But
okay.
But my intent is, if I find good cards, or the other thing is just never to put them in a flip at all. I mean, never. Let me see. So, yeah. Here's one I got recently. And these were all in my last video. This card will never be in a graded flip as long as I own it. And if MagPro or another company comes out with a vintage size card that I can customize the label, I'll put that in there. But for right now, I'll just put it in this one touch.
Man, I ain't showing off nothing yet.
Let's see some cards, Dave.
I mean, everybody's seen everything already in my last video. That's new.
Next video coming out in 6 months again, Dave, or what?
No, I pre-recorded videos.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, some of
know.
the can, as they say, right?
So
Yeah,
let's
and,
see.
and then like this particular one, I got that in Cleveland, and as soon as I can find a case that I can go ahead and have a customized label, it'll just stay in this one touch. But I would love to have this with a customized label on it.
Yeah.
And so Drew of Vintage Legacy, he was there with me when I got this. We literally walked in. It was like the second or third table we got to, and this was one of the two cards I was looking for when I was at Cleveland, and I got it within the first 15 minutes.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll show. Like I know you got.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. It's a great one.
But it's a 1. It's crazy.
Yeah.
No
Again,
snow.
Old lefty.
Oops. It's just I don't know. Like it's just crazy. I keep looking at this card trying to figure out. Besides, I think it's like right around in here. There's like I think some wax or some gum residue in there, but that's about it. Like I can't find anything else on the card with just my naked eye. So
yeah, and that's a tough card to find centered. Really tough card to find centered.
but I mean it's beautiful though. Couldn't pass it up. It beats my my other card that's ripped.
Half torn. Yeah, half.
Yeah, I'll grab that one real quick too. Yeah, you can see.
Yeah, that's been loved. That's been loved.
Yeah, I mean that was my first Hank Aaron card, and I was in hog heaven getting it. I was like, I felt like I was one of the richest guys in the world just having that card. But just whatever. That's just part of collecting. Going from modern and getting into to vintage. Friggin' Jason. So yeah. What else is there? Oh yeah, like my other like nice little pickup.
Oh, nice.
I like that.
Yeah, the 59. I wasn't a big fan of the 59 sets, but it's starting to grow on me as I'm really adding more 50s to my collection. 59 is starting to grow on me.
Yeah, I just love that set. I mean, go ahead.
It's the colors. It's the way they use the colors that really draws me into that set.
I feel like they used like a lot of yellow, in the around it. Like most of my cards that I got in the 59 set are all yellow.
Yeah, Spawn and Aaron.
Spawn, Aaron, Mays, Clemente, Drysdale. It's all yellow.
Yeah, I don't have any of those from the 59 set yet.
That Frank Robinson though, I think that's his best one. I love that image, and the colors work. It really does.
I don't know why, but it seems like it's like, to me it looks. Here, I'll bring it up. But to me it looks like the circle, like it's a like a telescope, not a telescope, but like a scope, almost, because it's like the black border around it, just like it's zoomed in for some reason. I don't know. Just that's my opinion on it, but just absolutely love that card. I couldn't pass it up. Could not pass that one up.
What color is the Bill White?
The Bill White.
Yellow.
Yeah, yellow.
It's yellow. I know it is. Yeah. I don't have it here, but I have. Well, maybe I do have it here.
I think I got it here. Yeah, yellow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty great to have 2 copies. We'll just call it a card. You guys have it at the ready. That's pretty impressive.
I think he just had a birthday. I think he's 91. Bill White.
When's he on the committee next? Is it next year or this? Obviously, not this year, right? So
The Beta Pinson kind of reminds me of the Frank Robinson in terms of the colors too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That red is really vibrant, Drew.
Yeah.
see, I think you're right though, Dave. On the black ones, it looks like that. Almost like maybe that's Topps' response to like Tyler's root beer, like the knot hole, almost right, like looking through like a hole in the fence.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or a telescope. I don't know. It's just crazy, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. I don't know. I contemplated several times of just collecting the whole 59 set, but that just,
How many cards are in that set, Dave?
I don't know. A lot.
You get all those the cards like Corey said earlier, right? Like the thrills. I love that set.
Yeah, the thrills. Yeah, what's the Hall of Fame rookie out of the 59 set?
That's Gibson, Bob Gibson.
Pepto Bismol, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't like that pink. Yeah. I will eventually. I'll get that card, but it's not one I'm going to want to get. But
I think the Bill White is also the rookie too, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
You get that nice Ford Frick card #1, right? I think he's the first card in the set.
Yeah.
But the Bob Gibson is going to be the most expensive. Then
Mantle and stuff. Yeah.
Then Mantle. Sparky Anderson's rookie cards in there.
Yeah, George. Yep. Looks like he's 50 already.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Who else is in that?
572 cards, Dave, to answer that question.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're on your way. You're on your way, Dave.
Yes, very slowly.
It's not one. It's not 1 through a lot. It's 1 through 572.
Technical.
A friend of mine collected that set when he was young, and he got it all slabbed before the prices went up like $4 or $5 a piece across the board, except for the big stars. So that's pretty cool. Be a lot of money nowadays to do that.
Oh yeah, and they're so backlogged now. All the specials are just like express only. There's no more bulk specials coming out. So
Yeah, that's a lot of work, Jake. I was reading the chat here. That's awful nice of Jake to put all that work in.
Yeah.
oh yeah, how many ballots did he say? How many ballots? Or is that going to be a surprise for the reveal video?
No, he didn't say how many ballots. I think I seen like on the YouTube Facebook group, Nathan. I think he said there was like, I guess he counted there was like 131. So
Is that more from last year or
I think it's
less?
a little lower than last year. Like, was it like
Yeah, I
159 last year?
yeah, I think so.
Jake was on John's channel, so he was on whatever, either John or 4 Collectors recently. So they mentioned just under right around 150, I think, last year. I understand, Jake. I got you. No teases.
He said 149 last year.
149. I was off 10. There you go.
Yes, Jason. There's a YouTube Facebook group.
We just didn't invite Jason. We're sorry about that. He's on Instagram, right? I think all stuff posts to Facebook, though.
I'm not on that group either. Jason, we'll start our own.
It'll just be you two. Nobody else is invited.
Drew likes it that way.
Well, if you make it public, everybody can see it.
You guys can start the Frat House YouTube group.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Scott, I know you like these cards, too. I got this in recently from the Mile High, the Transagram panel,
Yeah.
70.
Awesome.
Look at all the yellow stuff we saw earlier.
Awesome.
Pretty clean, though.
That's really clean. Yeah. What is that again, Matt?
It's so they came out 2 years. This is the 7th. So in the '69 year, they only had solo boxes,
Yeah.
and then in '70s they had little. It's like the precursor to starting lineups, but they were terrible looking. Like if you go look them up, they're kind of funny looking. But the cards are pretty cool. So a lot of airbrushing for a lot of the teams, but Aaron's
Right.
looks as the
Yeah.
Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, that Tom
Basically
Seaver
got
looks
airbrushed.
really, really close to his 69 card.
Yep.
And so I wonder if they were, that was part of Topps or.
Oh yeah. So they made them both the same year, the same. That's what makes it tough to collect that set. Is like,
Yeah.
I'm actually glad I have this now because I can measure my cards because there's like a 1/16 inch difference between 69 and 70. That's all way to tell.
Wow.
There's a Pasquale for
Orlando.
This is a side panel card of Pasquale.
Sweet.
If you cut that off, they'll grade it, but I think it's kind of cool just like that.
It is cool. I actually have an Aaron one that's graded. That little thing. I don't know what that is. Not even an inch. I have an Aaron. What a waste of a slab. But I have it.
The CPAP house. But we've got Chris from Missouri and Jason in here. I'll tell you what, that was like watching a heavyweight bout, watching those two have a snore off.
I mean, did anyone sleep?
It was touch and go there for a while. What?
Did anyone sleep the whole week? I feel like no one slept.
Well, Alex was out like right next to Chris, and then I was in the room out. So Alex was outside the room I was staying in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was crazy. But it was a great time.
I might have got a little some footage of that snore off too.
Yeah, I remember that. You did show that on a video.
Yeah.
Alex was like, "Thanks for reminding me."
So what do you guys got for rooms for Chicago?
Crown Plaza?
Yeah, the Crown Plaza.
Right across the street. How about you?
I'm in the Hyatt.
Yep.
Hammer?
I haven't made any reservations yet.
You just go by yourself or with anybody else?
It just depends. It depends on what's going on at the time. Again, I'm torn because I've got two big national events that I look forward to every year happening in the same time frame. So I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. Last year I stayed about 10 miles away or so, just Ubered in. And I got the room like the day before I showed up, and it was perfectly fine.
Okay.
Is that show that you go to the same weekend as the National every year?
Yeah.
Or?
No. It's so it's always the first weekend from Wednesday to Sunday of the first weekend in August. And so last year when I went to Cleveland was a week before, and then so I did Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in Cleveland, and the following week I turned around and was down in Louisville, Kentucky for Friday and Saturday. So, but if anybody's into classic cars, especially hot rods, that's the event. There was probably anywhere between 15 and 20,000 cars. You can't see them all. You just cannot see them all. And Saturday's the day to go because that's where everybody just drives in. But if you want to see some tremendous craftsmanship and just see every make and model of old car you can ever think of, that's the place. That's definitely the place to go. And it's really inexpensive to go. It's like $20 for the ticket, and you will walk for an entire day. On that Saturday, I walked most of the day, almost 10 miles, according to my watch, and I didn't even get to see but about less than half of the cars that were out there, and they're just beautiful cars. And of course, they're people that I would just never talk to otherwise. And then you strike up a conversation, and you find you have so much in common. Next thing you know, you're making connections, and so some work I need to get done on mine. I've already got people lined up that are more than willing to help me, or if I need a part or something like that. Yeah, it's just like the card community. It's no different. It's the same thing you said. It's just a car community. and nothing attracts a crowd like a good old restored car.
So what made you choose the car you have? Like, what was it about that year and model?
Yeah, I've had it since I got it. I've had it for almost 15 years now. So my grandfather restored old cars, and I mean old cars to the quality that he's been on the front cover of some of the top magazines back in the day. And he started with Model Ts, and he actually in the early 60s he won a national title with his Model T. And so and then as a kid growing up, he had a 1920 Model T runabout, which was he restored it, but my grandmother claimed it as hers. And it, every 4th of July parade or Veterans Day parade or something like that, they'd always bring that out. And then he had worked on a 1929 Chrysler Roadster for like 25 years. And when we would go visit them, you could see the progress going. And so that's where my passion for old cars came from. And then when I got to the point in time where I could have my own, I knew I wanted a Roadster, and I just happened to luck into a 1931. The 32, when the 32 is the iconic Roadster, that's really the iconic hot rod that people have. You hear the Deuce Coupe, that's the 32 Ford. And so the 31 Ford was close enough to the 32, but I didn't have to pay the 32 prices. And the body style is a little bit different. On the 32, the tank is in the back. It's actually beyond the car and between the end of the car and the bumper, and the tank sits on the outside. On the 28, 29, 30, and 31, the gas tank is actually in the cowl, which is right in front of the windshield, which is kind of interesting. Imagine being in a head-on collision and you got a hot engine and you puncture the gas tank. That's probably not a good place for it to be. So my gas tank is actually in my trunk area. And so, but it's my grandfather's the one who inspired me to get into old cars. And he had a 38 Buick. They call it a 38 Special that he also, and it's a businessman's coupe. And he restored that one as well and got to ride in that. And so my uncle still has that one. And then, of course, my uncle, which is my dad's youngest brother, he also has old cars, but he just finished a 34 Ford 5-window coupe that he bought in 1970. And he just finished it within the last 2 years. And that's a beautiful car too. So it's just like the cards. The cards bring you to people, and they have stories behind them. Cars are exactly the same thing. They're no different. It's just a different medium.
So the grill's pretty similar to the 32?
No, so the 32 has a taller grill than the 30. When Model Ts went all the way up to 27, and then in 28, 29, 30, and 31, that's where the Model A's are. So you went from the Model T to the Model A. And then in 32, I think they call them Model Bs, but the Model B never caught on. But the Deuce Coupe and the 32. Now the 34, 33 and the 34 grills are very different than the 32 and definitely the 29 and the 28 through the 31. And you can tell between a 33 and a 34, it's really, really long, and the grill comes down to a point at the bottom, and the 34 is tilted back. That's how you can tell the 34. And they are, again, those are just beautiful cars. I saw that in the chat asking me about what I have in my 31. I have a 30 or a 350 Chevy small block, and I've got it made it up to a turbo 350 transmission, going into a Ford 9-inch rear end.
How fast do you go with it?
And that thing's light. I can go from 0 to 60 in probably 3 to 4 seconds.
Jeez.
Yeah, but it's really, really light. So the hardest part is just getting the grip on the back tires.
Yeah, 350 in a car like that, you would think it would take off pretty good.
Yeah, and again, there's why I wanted the Roadster. You know, at the end of a hard day, there's nothing like jumping in a Roadster and going for a ride. And the wind's blowing in your hair. Everybody's giving you thumbs up and high fives and all that. Yeah, it just makes the whole day run away.
Yeah, my high school car was a 70 Malibu with a 350 in it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mag wheels, red with a black vinyl top.
Yeah, and those 350 engines are so easy to work on, and they're just built to last. The engine I have actually came out of I can only trace the serial number back to three types of cars. It either came out of a Chevelle, a Camaro, or there was another one, a Nova, in 1972. And so the engine I have is a 1972, but I can't tell exactly which car it came out of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and Jason's asking me about the original frame. No, the frame the frame is on a 1927 Ford frame, but the body is all original Henry Ford. So I have an all steel body. In those older cars, you literally can order a body out of a magazine. Brookville is one of the companies. You literally can build your own car with every part that you would ever need out of a catalog these days. And so when you find that original steel, that just sets it above the rest.
Hammer, have you ever heard of Speedway Motors?
Oh yeah, when I was in the Omaha area, I would go there in person to pick up my parts, and they have a great museum there as well. So make sure you go to that museum because the cars in there. I mean, the Red Baron Hot Wheel. If you guys remember the Red Baron Hot Wheel, that original car is in that museum.
I've been in it several times. It's only a mile from my house.
Oh, wow! I know exactly where you are. I know exactly where you live now, Drew.
I'm just off, you know where I-80 is. I'm just off the interstate. Yeah.
They used to have a Cars and Coffee on Saturday mornings.
They still do.
And I would show up. And I didn't have my hot rod when I was in the Omaha area with me. It was back at my house in the St. Louis area. But I would drive up there just so I could see those cars, and then I would go into the museum, and then I'd go pick up my part, whatever part I was getting, and then call it a day. But yeah, love that
museum is doubled in size. It was just added on to.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, I've got to get back up there because I really enjoyed that area.
Yeah, I'll text you his address. He has a great collection.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know he's got a Clemente. He's got a 55 Clemente.
I mean, he's got a whole complete 53 set slab.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too.
Hammer, when you're ready.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go.
You thought I was joking.
Yeah.
I know the owners.
Yeah, so. That's a great museum.
Yeah.
That's completely off topic. Has nothing to do with baseball cards, but it's all the same because it's things that are. Chris, my home is in O'Fallon, Illinois. It's just on the east side of the Mississippi River. So, but cars or cards or anything that you collect, it's just a way to bring people together, and it's just the medium. The rules are the same no matter what you're collecting but it's the medium that brings the people together, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Do you collect car cards?
Do I collect? Say that again.
Cards of cars.
The only ones I've ever done is there's a company that you can order parts on. I can't think of the name of it, but they'll have some magnets of other people's cars, and I've got a refrigerator in my garage that's got about 10 or 15 of those on there, but not actual cars or cardboard cards of cars. I've never got into that yet.
Hammer, is this what you were talking about?
Yeah, the Red Baron. That was, I mean, anybody who grew up in the 70s and had Hot Wheels, everybody had the Red Baron. That
Right.
was, I mean, that was the coolest car of the set. I mean, that was like Evil Knievel in the stunt cycle.
Yeah. As soon as you said that, I go, wait a minute, I got that thing.
He pulled
just
it out of the
wanted
pack
to-
himself.
Here's some exhibit cards of cars.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. So that's probably a 20. Ooh,
27.
that's a 27 T bucket. Yeah. So when you think of a T bucket in that year, think of the Munsters. That was the same type of car.
And it's got description on the back.
Yeah. Yeah. So the frame I have on my 31 actually came out of a car like that. I've got a 27 frame on mine. Yeah. And in fact, if I can, oh yeah, there's another T bucket.
The other ones are newer.
Yeah. I'll pull up. I got a picture. I can.
Like here's a 40 Ford Coupe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And in the 40s and the 50s, with the designs were just off the chart. That was definitely the golden era.
57 convertible.
Oh yeah, beautiful cars.
And here's the 57 Corvette.
Yeah, that was the first year of the Corvette, and you can tell the 57 from the 58 versus the 2 versus 4 headlights.
Yeah. That's about all I have for car exhibits, but they're out there too.
Yes, I don't know how this will show up, but that's my Roadster.
Oh. Yeah, you need to drive that up here to Lincoln sometime.
Yeah, the thing of it is, it's only got an 8-gallon tank, and so I've got to, and it probably only gets about, I don't know, if I had to guess, it probably only gets 10 to 15 miles to the gallon at most, only because it's light. So I'd have to trailer it, and
Yeah, because there's only 3 gas stations in Nebraska.
yeah, one in Omaha, one in Lincoln, and yeah,
West Platte.
Scotts
right.
Bluff.
There you go,
North Platte.
Scotts Bluff. Yeah, and then, but also, but also the other car I have, or the other vehicle that I restored is believe it or not, is a 1987 Ford Ranger. And so it's probably one of the cleanest copies on the planet. And that's all original. That's original paint. When I was in the Omaha area, I spent a couple of years restoring it. I'm about 90, still only about 95%, because I still got a little bit of body work. But every part, I went through that from top to, it was a complete frame on restoration. So I did everything but pull the cab off. Everything else came out. And when I put it all back together, it was either the original part that I got, or I went and got the original parts out of a junkyard, or I bought new old stock directly from a Ford distributor. So that truck is as exact as it was the day it was in the showroom. And so when I got it, people were saying, "Why would you want that?" Because I got that, 2014 is when I got it. I've been working on it ever since. But now I can't drive it. I can't drive it without somebody making an offer to me for it, and it's just not for sale. It's kind of like my cards. Once it's in the family, it stays in the family.
Do you know if that was made in St. Paul? Just down the road.
This one was actually, believe it or not, it's in again, the provenance of a car. I got Apollo back with me, so if I go down again, it's because here. For that, I do know the exact research in the history of that truck, and it came off the Louisville plant line on February the 3rd, 1987.
Okay.
Christopher Missouri says base coat or clear coat paint?
No, so the 87 Ranger was clear coated, and that's part of the challenge I've got is some of that clear coat is getting really thin, and so I'm going to have to sacrifice the complete 100% originality of that truck in order to get the paint, and it's back on the passenger side rear panel or rear quarter panel on my on the bed, and then I've got some things I want to do to the tailgate as well, where some of the scratches are.
Man, this is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how we got on that, but I appreciate you.
No,
I can talk about cars and cards all day long.
Have you ever found a card in a car that you're trying to restore? Or heard of somebody finding cards?
No, but I have bought cards because they had cars on them. The 72 Tops is a great example. You know, when you've got all those cars lined up out in the outfield, you know, beyond the outfield fence, I bought those cards just because the cars were in there.
Now I'm trying to find that card.
Years ago, Hammer, I had a boss that had old cards, and he would get a suitcase and put the magazine of the year that the car came out, and a baseball card in the suitcase. So it was kind of like a time capsule inside the car.
That's right.
To that period of time.
Yeah, and again, anybody who has an old car, just drive around town. People recognize you, and they don't recognize you; they recognize your car. And I mean, thumbs up and honk and horn honks and all that other type of stuff. And so, what a great thing, especially in the Roadster, is I'll take my grandkids and we'll go get ice cream. And that is a thrill for them that, because I remember riding in my grandfather's cars and those were always great times. And so every chance I get, we'll jump in the hot rod and we'll go get some ice cream.
Yeah, we had a 50 Chevy pickup that we pulled out of the bush, and it was.
Oh, that's a beautiful truck.
All I did was wax it, and the navy blue came out really nice, and it ran most of the time. Sometimes we had to push it, but
yeah,
it was fun when we had it.
And those cars in original shape, they just don't exist much anymore, because everybody get it and they'll hot rod it out or they'll resto mod it. I'm really more of original factory type stuff. I would love to have a 31 Ford Roadster Deluxe that was all original, but you pay a very pretty penny for them.
I don't know if you can see this.
Oh yeah, you got a dune buggy. Good for you.
69.
Yeah. Did you put that together?
No. Friend of the family.
Okay. Yeah, dune buggies are awesome.
Yeah, they're kind of fun. They're riding around in the corn.
Yeah. They're perfect for running around in that corn. You remember that dune buggy cartoon back in the 70s?
Speed buggy?
Speed buggy, that's it. Speed buggy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're great for checking on irrigation.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was like a 55 or 56 Bel Air my dad had.
Oh yeah.
And it had the original spare tire in it.
Ooh, yeah.
So
yeah. That's great for show. No more. Yeah, that's great for show, but I wouldn't put it on. I wouldn't drive with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the end, the cat gets what he wanted.
To be held.
Yeah.
Dave, you're gonna have to rename the channel Cars and Cards.
Just this one. This is what's great about it. It's unprepared. It's live. Like anything goes. Like showing cards.
Cars.
Yeah, I've got I have 3 hobbies: cars, cards, and guitars. And so I got there's just not enough time in the day for all the things I want to do.
Oh, you got a new hobby on your lap right there.
What's that?
You got a new hobby on your lap right there now too.
Oh yeah. This is Apollo. So literally, this is 2 weeks ago today. I adopted him. So, and it's only taken 2 weeks for him to to want to be a part of everything I'm doing, which is good. That's why I got it.
How many guitars do you got?
Oh, Dave, probably close to 20. And so, I've got I got classical acoustic, I've got dreadnought acoustic, I've got cutaway acoustic, I've got all kinds of electrics. But I'm not a Gibson guy. They're just too big, they're too heavy. I mean, and if you understand the pickups in a guitar, so the really classic pickups in a Gibson would be what they call PAFs, patent applied for. So that was in the, I don't know if that's 50s and 60s type era. And I absolutely love the sound of a Gibson going through a vintage Gibson going through a vintage Marshall. But I just don't have any of those. But I do have a Fender Telecaster. But I'm more of a Telecaster style guitar, but not necessarily a Fender. I do have a Fender. I have is it a 75th anniversary? It's one of the anniversaries. It might be the 65th anniversary. And that feels really good. But I'm more of a PRS guy, Paul Reed Smith, and I've got a couple of I have a custom 24, and then I also have a John Mayer model, which is I don't know, they call it a Silver Skies. I think it's the Silver Sky is what they call it, and those are when I'm playing, and again, it's kind of like a car. When you put all that work into a car, the car kind of fits you like a glove. And so a guitar it's a very personal thing. And being able to pick up a guitar that feels right in your hands just brings all the information that you need, or all the inspiration that you need.
Dave, I think you need someone with a hammer in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is all of the music in my videos, with the exception of one where I used the Willie Mays song, all of that's original music, and that's me on my guitars.
Really?
Yes.
Jason has a PRS too.
Yeah, PRS, and they're typically you're a Fender guy, you're a Gibson guy, or you are a PRS guy. Those are really kind of the big three. There's other companies out there like Jackson or Epiphone, which is a variation of a Fender, things like that. But for me, the PRS, it just in the neck, the thickness of the neck, the feel of the neck, because you've got to really move your fingers around, and if it doesn't feel right, it could be the most expensive guitar ever made, but if it doesn't feel right in your hands, it's of no use. It just hangs on the wall. And then my acoustics, typically I gravitate towards Takamine, but me and my youngest son were in Nashville, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I went to Carter's Vintage Guitars. If you're ever in Nashville and you're into guitars, there's two guitar shops that I would recommend anybody going to. One of them is Carter's Vintage Guitars, which is where I picked up this guitar, and I'll come back to that. And then the other one is Gruel's, and those are just, the people are very personable, but the selection of vintage guitars that they have is just off the charts. And if anybody knows any Nashville session players, that's where a lot of the vintage guitars they get that they add to their lineup. It typically coming from one of those two. But at Carter's, me and my youngest son were going through Nashville, and we stopped in there, and I picked up a Taylor acoustic as a 2013 custom model. I picked it up, and again, when you pick up an instrument, right away whether or not it's for you. And I walked out the door with that one. That's my go-to acoustic guitar right now. Yeah, Jason's asking me about what do I play them out of. So I have a Rev 20 head, that I can hook up directly digitally into my computer. So I get a direct line in. So I get a tube amp feel, but I don't have and I have a line 6 cabinet that I go through, but it's not, I don't have a vintage Marshall or anything like that, but I can simulate the sounds. And when you get into the production of your own music, you can get pretty close. That the experts will know that it certainly was not through the vintage gear, but the typical person who's listening to it would never be able to tell the difference between the modern digital capability versus the vintage equipment. And the vintage equipment is one, it's really expensive. The good stuff is really expensive, but also it's got a lot of dangerous parts in it. And plugging in old things that carry a lot of voltage and a lot of amperage in it, some people have gotten shocked before, or they'll try to work on their own and they don't drain the electricity coming out of the capacitors, and life-threatening injuries occur from that. So I'm more digital right now, but I do try to go for the vintage sound.
Okay. Any like genre of music that you like playing, or?
So yeah, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s. And so, but I really kind of like the music I gravitate to. Clearly anything that's not pop in the 80s, I was probably listening to it. And then in the 70s, I like the West Coast sound, like the Steely Dan and those types of things. So that was where jazz and rock kind of came together. And you listen to those songs, like Kid Charlemagne from Steely Dan, it sounds really easy on the ears, but it is technically tough to play. And things that, I know what they're doing, but there's no way I could ever do it. Those were a lot of that genre was all the session players on the West Coast back in the early to early 70s to the mid 80s, so to speak. So Toto would fit into that. Those are session players. And Steely Dan, Michael McDonald was part of that. And that's why you heard in the 80s, Michael McDonald, you heard his voice on everything because he was a session player, even though he went off and did the thing with the Doobie Brothers and then had his own solo career. But those guys are the best of the best. And those musicians just don't exist anymore. Everything is, with artificial intelligence these days, literally in 4 to 5 minutes, you can go in with just a prompt, how you put together a sentence. You can come up with a pretty convincing song in whatever genre you want it to be in.
You got some pretty good session guys down in Alabama, the Swampers.
Oh yeah. Now say that again. Did you say the Swampers or the Swampers up in Muscle Shoals? Oh yeah. Yeah. And a lot of the acts in the 60s, 70s and into the 80s, they were all going to Muscle Shoals. Yeah, the Swampers. Yeah, those are great musicians too. A lot of Aretha Franklin and Tina Turner, all of that was done in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Even the Rolling Stones would go there.
Scott, I have to say, I'm pretty surprised by your knowledge on a lot of things. Like you just blurting off something, some other state that you're not even living in.
Well, they're famous from Leonard Skinner's song "Sweet Home Alabama."
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's exactly right.
And then I'll go look them up and read about them just to find out who they are.
Show us your exhibit cards from Muscle Shoals.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. He's probably got he's got a stack of Swampers exhibit cards.
There you go.
See what I have for music. I don't even know if I have musicians. I just have singers.
You watch, he'll have
one.
Yeah,
see, he does. He does.
4 seasons.
There you go.
Exactly right.
And then Sam Cooke.
Oh, Sam Cooke. Yeah, Sam Cooke has inspired a lot of the music we listen to. Sam Cooke was an inspiration to a whole lot of those folks who
Yeah,
recorded
that's
music.
all I really have for. There's so many actors and stuff that you can get. I have a whole bunch of Western ones I could pull out. Like Hoot Gibson and all those really old guys. But
Scott, you setting up at any card show selling stuff?
I think I'm gonna try and get in the club show in February. Just to kind of hang out for the day.
You selling anything?
Probably some things like Roger Maris golf bag tags and things like that.
Oh, wow.
What's the percentage of vintage at that Dallas show? I know Matt and Scott, you guys have hit it before, right?
25% would be my guess.
Yeah, it was a little bit more even this last time. I'd say they have 30% now. But Pokemon's bigger, so I think Modern's kind of getting squeezed by Pokemon. They're kind of taking over. So,
There's some great vintage there though too.
I've thought about making the drive one of these times and checking it out, but I don't want to go down there and look at Pokemon cards.
All right, so besides Strongsville, the Philly show, the National, and probably Chantilly, like what would be another like good vintage card show probably to hit up?
I think that Shriners show in Boston sounds like it's supposed to be good. The one that I know Mark Kroll goes to it, right?
Getting us back to cards.
There we go.
You mentioned Roger Maris. That's my
That's a nice
favorite.
one.
That's my favorite Roger Maris card.
That's just gorgeous. Ain't that's his rookie, right?
That's his rookie card, yeah. And the story behind this is that there's only one card that my dad gave me that I no longer have, and it was this. It's not this card, but it was the 58 Maris, and that's coming up in a later video. Story behind that.
Every year they have a different bag tag for your golf bag.
Where did he have the golf tournament at?
In Fargo. It's still there, but
yeah, in where did you say? Fargo?
Fargo. Yeah, they
Fargo.
still have it, but now it's really gotten to be a corporate thing.
Yeah.
Not really for the regular people anymore.
Right.
Big hospital there took it over.
You know, what's interesting to me is Roger Maris sells like he's a Hall of Famer. You know, his cards. I mean, he only had, the Yankee fans are probably going to give thumbs down on the video, but I mean, he only had 2 big years, right? Maybe 3.
Yeah.
But his cards sell as if he were a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that 61 home runs, that was a big deal for a long time.
It was.
And he played for the Yankees in 61. Just because, not just the home runs, but being on that 61 Yankee team.
Did he hit in front of or behind Mickey Mantle?
Behind Mickey Mantle.
Behind, so he was protecting Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did have 2 MVPs in a row, right? I see that in the chat.
Yeah, he played one year with something broken in his hand, and the Yankees got upset and they didn't believe him, and that might be when they let him go. But he won another World Series with the Cardinals after they let him go.
Yeah. Yeah, he passed away way too young.
Yeah.
He was like 51, I think, or something like. I mean, he was young.
Yeah, he was at his first golf tournament. He was also at the '83 Legion World Series. He was at a banquet there, so I got his autograph both times. Met him. I know some of the family members better than I knew him. But
yeah, wow. Yeah, that's awesome, Scott. I mean, yeah, if there were, Roger Maris, and I'm very particular I made the mistake of meeting Pete Rose. And Pete Rose was somebody who I looked up to as a kid. And then you meet him as an adult and you find out he's not what you thought he was. And that's not his fault. That's on mine. But then I'm very sensitive of meeting players after that, at least not in a public setting. I have met some more intimate setting, which is a lot better. But Roger Maris would have been one of those ones that I would have gone out of my way to meet.
But one of the Roger Maris golf tournaments, we were in the card show there, and here comes Johnny Bench walking through, looking at the tables. So it's kind of neat meeting him real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, believe it or not, when I was early 20s, I was working as a writer at a small newspaper, and I had a press pass to a card show in Louisville, Kentucky, and got to have lunch with. Now, here's the three guys I had lunch with: was Bob Feller, Moose Scourin, and Hank Bauer. And kind of back in a green room area, and I didn't bring any lunch. But Bob Feller was such a gentleman. He had a bologna and cheese sandwich, and he gave me half of it. So I got to share a bologna and cheese sandwich that Bob Feller, somebody made it from Bob Feller. I got to eat it, but and even though I ended up writing a story about it, we just sit and talked about days of baseball. I mean, in my early 20s, I didn't have a clue how great Hank Bauer was, especially in his what do you have, 18 straight games where he had a hit. Or Moose Scourin, and then Moose Scourin, he was a graduate of Purdue University, which is my alum, and learned about that. But then Bob Feller, he was just a gentleman. There's just no other way to say it.
Hank Bauer was manager in '66 when the Orioles won World Series too, right?
Yeah. Yep, Bob Feller. Yeah, such a gentleman. There's just no way to say it. As a punk, I was probably 21, 22 years old, and was at a card show, and I had a press pass, and I'm like, heck yeah, I'm going back there. And then those three were sitting down having lunch, and we just sat down, and I just listened. I just listened to the stories they were talking about. Now I look back on it and say, man, I missed an opportunity, because now I know more about what they did. At the time, I just didn't know.
Moose also played football for Purdue.
He did. Yep, he sure did.
Did you check out Bob Feller's museum when you were living in Omaha? Did you drive over to?
I didn't. But when I was in Omaha, Bob Gibson was still alive.
Yeah.
And I was at a house party in the neighborhood where he was living about. So this would have been the spring of 2019, and this is just before he really got sick with the pancreatic cancer, and got to sit and talk with him for a little bit. But again, I'm really sensitive about he doesn't want to talk about the 68 season or anything like that. I just talked to him about, just life in general, but it was a great conversation with him.
Have you guys ever been to his restaurant back in the day?
Is that Bob Gibson?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It says you're number one.
Spirit and substance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Is that a keychain? That keychain? Yeah.
Yeah.
But Bob Feller, or not Bob Feller, but Bob Gibson, he wasn't as big as I thought he was. So I was just a little bit taller than him. But again, I didn't see him in his heyday. This was 2019, and he passed away. I think he passed away in late 20 or early 21.
Played a season with the Harlem Globetrotters too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He filled out paperwork for the Minneapolis Lakers, but they never got back to him.
I think he made the right choice. He made the right choice. And him and Denny McClain, and Denny McClain is still around. So I went to the card show in Nashville in last October, and I've gone. And they have it 3 times a year, but I've gone to the October one the past 3 years. In 2 of those 3 years, Denny McClain is out there, and he has a booth set up where you can buy cards. He'll sign them, but he also sells his memorabilia. He's got old shoes. He's got his gloves, hats, and back in 2022, October 2022, I actually just hung out with him for about an hour and a half, and just telling me all about how they had to negotiate their own contracts. You couldn't have a lawyer, you didn't have an agent, and was talking about how he got his contract in the 68, 69 timeframe. And Al Kaline had signed for $100K, and he got more than that. He wouldn't say how much more than that, but he had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. He could not tell anybody what he signed his contract for in order so that because Al Kaline was Mr. Tiger. But I could not imagine. So when we talk about Eddie Watt, Drew, not only is he playing for, making $400 a month just to make it to the big leagues, leaves his family behind, but then he also has to negotiate his own contract. I just can't imagine that.
And you know how much he got paid for this photo?
If I had to guess, $100, $150.
No,
Couple bucks.
50 $50.
$5.
Oh, $5. Holy cow.
Yep, $5.
Yeah, can you imagine Shohei Ohtani or Juan Soto signing or giving their image, name, or likeness away for $5?
They would send the players a check and a letter, and the letter said, if you cash this check, you agree to the terms or something.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and this past October also, so Denny McClain was there in Nashville, and Jose Rio from the Reds was there, and he was 1 or 2 tables down from Denny McClain. In fact, I've got my Denny McClain cards that he signed for me. I just don't have them here with me. Maybe I'll make a video of them one day.
Yeah, Denny's great to talk to. I ran into him at a couple shows here, and first I got hooked up with him because a friend of mine was at the show. He goes, Denny McClain's here, and I go, really? He goes, here, talk to him. So he hands the phone to Denny, and Denny's talking to me, and then he goes, this show is so slow. If I went over in the corner and died, they wouldn't find me till frickin' Sunday night.
Yeah. He runs a brewing company of some sort because he actually gave me a business card. I've got a couple of his business cards.
Yeah.
So I had him sign one. I had him sign a card where it was his 30 win season was it 68 or 69? When was his 30 win season? 68. So I had the 69 leaders card, and he signed it up in the upper right-hand corner. And he goes, Ed, here. He goes, here's my business card. He wanted to take the card from me and get the other guys to sign it. He goes, yeah, I'll have him sign it for you. But I was so excited to get that card from him. I didn't know if I'd ever see it again, so I didn't do it. But I do have his business card.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a Denny McClain glove when I played Little League in Babe Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought it up to him, and he goes, is that my glove? It had the 31 wins in there. He goes, is that my glove? I go, yeah, I'm doing this for free. So he just signed it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So to put it in perspective, he is the only human being on the face of the earth still alive that's won 30 Major League Baseball games in a single season. The only person.
I don't see that happening anytime soon.
No, not with the way that.
That's a good career now.
Yeah,
you're exactly right.
Yeah. So there's a question, given the way that these pitchers are handled now, do you think they'll accumulate enough numbers that will put them in the Hall of Fame? If I'm a voter, I have to think that I'm probably going to end up voting for guys that put up huge numbers that aren't offensively batters.
Yeah. So I mean, so
What do you
CC Sabathia got voted in this year. How many wins does he have?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the next generation.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Verlander, Scherzer, these guys are going to, yeah, sure. But beyond that, Kershaw, yeah, but the next generation of pitchers.
Snell, Otani, all them guys.
I don't know. I
just have to lower the standards down.
Right, 200 wins will get you in. I'm thinking eventually, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
but
150.
yeah, but if you're an old school voter and you're looking at those pitchers with the new standards of say 200, or you're looking at, I don't know, I'm just gonna throw a name, Mike Trout or somebody. I mean, you're probably gonna go for the hitter, aren't you? I mean, to me, the value of starting pitchers has lessened a great deal, and the value of say bullpen pitchers has increased. I think that gap is a lot smaller than it once was.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Drew. You know, there'll probably be another Billy Wagner make the Hall of Fame before. I mean, a reliever will make it before a starter from this generation, I would say.
I mean, there's bullpen games in the World Series now. Like, that's crazy to me. Right?
Yeah.
Like, how is that even possible? Game has changed dramatically.
Yeah. I see Verlander, Scherzer, Kershaw. Yeah, those guys all probably get in. I'm probably missing somebody, but that next generation, I don't know. I just
Kershaw would probably be in that conversation as well.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just going to be hard for. I think it's going to be hard for them to get in.
They'd have to win. I mean, 4 or 5 Cy Youngs, I think, to be seriously considered. But even then, who was the pitcher from the Giants who won?
Lincecum.
Lincecum.
He won 2, right? 2 or 3 or whatever.
Yeah. Did back to back, but I mean, he dominated in that era. But I don't see him getting voted in.
Well, look at Johan Santana. He had 2 Cy Youngs, and he has the 6th best WAR per 162 games.
Yeah.
Out of all starting pitchers ever, I think Kershaw's number 1. But
okay.
Yeah, his stretch is similar to Pedro's and similar to Koufax. If you look at it, for like that 5 or 6 years, he was dominant.
Yeah. What were CC Sabathia? And again, I mean, I know CC Sabathia played for the Yankees and played for the Brewers, and there might have been another team.
Indians.
What were his credentials that?
Yeah, I can look them up.
3,000 strikeouts for sure, right?
Okay, so strikeouts. So Drew, I mean, strikeouts could be the way to get in.
Yeah. So here I got his stats pulled up. 62.3 WAR, strikeouts. Yeah, 3,093. Lifetime ERA of 3.74 and 251 wins.
Yeah. See, I mean, you know, wins can't be the only thing. Tommy John is a great example of that.
288.
Right. Yeah, Tommy John, why he's not in, I don't know, but he certainly should be. Even if it wasn't just for his pitching credentials, but his surgery, I mean, he was the first one to get that surgery.
Yeah.
The baseball would not be baseball today without it. I mean, you got these kids that are getting this Tommy John surgery in high school and college before they even step out on a professional career.
How many Cy Youngs did DeGrom win? Did he win?
Oh,
he won at least 2.
Yeah.
Because when he's healthy, he's great, but he hasn't. I'm gonna look him up real quick.
Is he still on is DeGrom still on? Is he on the Rangers roster and just?
Yeah, I think so. So he won back-to-back Cy Youngs in 2018, 2019.
Yeah, with the Mets.
Yeah.
He's got a 45 WAR if he ever comes back and has a few more good years.
Mm-hmm.
But he's 36, 37.
Well, how many wins does he have? I'll tell you what it is. Can anybody guess?
160.
84.
84.
I cheated.
Oh my gosh.
He's got 84 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had a 14-8 season. He's had a 15-10 season, 10-9, 11-8. And otherwise, But
he's the Harold Baines of pitchers.
he's had
Maybe.
he's had a couple really big seasons, but I suppose some people are going to say, short career. Well, this guy had a short career, right?
But yeah, he had a perfect game, World Series, no hitters. Did Koufax win a Cy Young? How many Cy Youngs did he win?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Did he win? How many MVPs? How many MVPs did he get?
I'm not sure.
I hear the Google machine turning on.
Yeah.
And Baseball Reference, yeah.
Guess who beat him out for Cy Young? He would have won 4 in a row, but another
Probably Bob Gibson.
No. Both leagues were available for the Cy Young that year.
Ooh.
So who was good in the American League?
Whitey Ford.
No. Somebody you guys never heard of. He pitched for the Twins and the Angels.
Jim Cott.
No. He couldn't hit. He'd hit less than 200, but he had a lifetime ERA of 2.92.
Jim Bunning?
No.
Wow. Yeah.
And his record was 128 and 115.
With the Twins.
Yeah. He played for him for about 3 years.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So in 1964, he had a 9.4 WAR. He was 20-9 with a 1.65 ERA. Dean Chance.
Oh, Dean Chance. Yeah. That's a great trivia. That's a great trivia question. Did Dean Chance? Did he recently pass away, or is he still around?
He recently passed away, I believe.
That's what I thought.
2015.
I guess it's been a while. Then I guess it's been a while. Wow. Okay.
So it's watching John Mangini talk about longevity. Does that matter for the Hall of Fame? What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I think the writers would tell you it absolutely does matter. Name anybody who's gotten into the Hall of Fame that didn't have longevity.
You have to have 10 years.
Yeah, this is the discussion of the Roger Maris discussion, or the Dale Murphy discussion. You've got to be good. You got to be good. You can't be good for 4 or 5 years. You've got to be good for an entire career.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought I'd ask the question. I was kind of wondering what you guys. For short careers, Koufax comes to mind, but
Yeah.
But he went out on his terms.
He did.
There was no amount of money he was making during that time frame that was in his press conference. He says, "I don't want to regret. I can't get that arm back if I blow it out. I can't get that arm back. There's no. I will look back and will be better because I didn't do that than if he would have done it."
Yeah.
And remember, him and Drysdale, he wasn't far removed from him and Drysdale holding out for better pay.
I mean, Drysdale was short career too, right? Like 13 seasons. Wasn't much longer than Koufax.
Well, he did from 56 to 69.
Okay, 14.
Did he pitch in 69 even?
I thought it was 68. Yeah, I thought it was 60s. Yeah, can't remember.
He had a 69 card like Mantle.
Can you imagine facing Koufax and Drysdale back to back in the mid 60s? Oh my gosh.
Let me ask you it this way. Does having a long career and building up your WAR and your numbers, your stats, overinflate your credentials for the Hall of Fame?
I think so.
Would you say, Scott?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, one person that comes to mind there is Tommy Johns, right? He's got 288 wins, but he played for, I'm going to take a shot here, 27 seasons.
Yeah, it was a long time.
So does that diminish his credentials for the Hall of Fame because he played so long and he was able just to kind of keep building those numbers?
Well, you have to have a good WAR, according to the modern voters too. Because look at Joe Carter; he had 10 seasons with 100 RBIs, and his WAR is below 30, I think. And he played quite a while. He had a famous home run in World Series.
I just looked, Tommy John, 61.6 WAR. He did have 3 seasons where his WAR was below 1 or below 0, so negative. 26 seasons.
So same as Ryan, right?
Again, 12 more wins, and we wouldn't be having this discussion at all.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and he also has the unfortunate he was in 3 World Series, and he was with the Yankees when he's with the Dodgers when the Yankees went back to back in 77 and 78, and then in 81 he was with the Yankees when the Dodgers beat them. So 3 Yankees Dodgers series, and he was on the losing team on all 3 of those.
I always look at Tommy John as the equivalent of Fred McGriff, right? Fred McGriff didn't get into the Hall of Fame, but he would have if he had 500 home runs. He had 493, so he sat there forever,
Yeah.
What was
Fred
Fred's
McGriff
WAR?
he just got in.
Yeah, but my point being is I kind of see those 2 players being similar in terms of that magical number, that plateau that you have to reach to get into the Hall of Fame. 300 wins, 500 homers.
Right.
I think 26 seasons is probably why Tommy John's not in. I wouldn't be disappointed either way, but it just seems like because he accumulated so many stats, might be why he's not in, because he didn't get to the 300. He's not Don Sutton, for instance.
No, but he had a very respectable ERA at 3.34.
Yeah.
I mean, Nolan Ryan, somebody brought Matt. Was that you that brought that up? I mean, he played the same amount. So is
For
that,
years, yeah.
yeah. So
And everybody downplays Jack Morris, but Jack Morris, nobody said Tommy John was the best pitcher of a decade. Whether he is or not, we don't know. Just a lot of people said Jack Morris was the best pitcher of the 80s, but that's debatable.
Yeah.
But he had a great 91 World Series. Does he have 3 rings, Jack Morris?
Yeah, he had a good 84 World Series too.
Yeah, and then Toronto.
And he won it with 3 different teams. Yeah, can you imagine winning World Series with Minnesota and then turn around the next year won it with the Toronto Blue Jays? That was what, 90 and 91?
91, 92, I think.
Or 91, 92?
Because
90 was the Reds.
91,
90
right?
was the Reds. The Braves were 91. Braves and Twins were 91, and then the Blue Jays Braves were 92.
87, the Twins beat the Tigers in the playoffs, so he didn't make it that year.
Mhm.
Jeez.
Yeah, but Tommy John and then also Dr. Job, who's the one who, I guess, invented the Tommy John. If you go based on the influence to the game, they absolutely both deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. The game today would not be the same without those 2.
Well, it's like Roger Maris. You can't tell the history of baseball without talking about Tommy John.
That's exactly right. I mean, heck, Ohtani's coming back, and he's had his 2nd Tommy John surgery. They'll talk about Ohtani all day long, but if it wasn't again for that surgery, he would have been out of baseball a long time ago.
What's the next step? A bionic arm?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. That's a good Tommy John card.
that's fairly cheap card. It's probably one to get. I do think he'll get in one day.
Mhm.
It's probably Good time to buy it. I think I've got one too.
Oh, there's the milk. Yeah, that's a good one. With the White Sox. Yeah.
I've got the Tommy John Transagram side panel like I had the Pasquale. That little tiny card.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Hey, this has been a blast. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just don't get
Great talking to you.
I don't get a lot of time to jump on and do these things, but Dave gave me the heads up that it was coming on. So Dave, I really appreciate you letting me kind of hang out with you guys for the night.
Oh, no problem. Glad you came on.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, Matt. Hopefully I'll get to see. I definitely know I won't make Strongsville, but I'm hoping to make it to Chicago. I really enjoyed the Chicago versus Cleveland. I enjoyed the Chicago show better than I did the Cleveland show, but maybe it was because that was my first national. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to going back to Chicago.
Me too. We'll see you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Later.
Yeah. Good night, gentlemen.
Yeah.
And there's just the four of us.
Like I said, I probably need to go pretty soon too myself.
Well, I'm going to cut it off right here and stuff, and then we can just hang out afterwards for a minute.
Sounds good.
So, all right. Well,
See you
good night,
later.
everyone. Thanks for coming on and talking and stuff. So, all right.
Thanks, Dave.